Welcome to another episode of Conversations in Music. I'm your host, Byrd, and our guest today is a chart-topping vocalist and producer from Woodstock, New York. She has 6 albums to date, and she's been doing it her way. You've seen her all around the world on stages large and small. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the talented and warm-hearted Miss Lindsey Webster. Lindsey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Wes. How about you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Good.
Cool.
Thanks for being here tonight.
It was a great night.
Did you have fun?
Yep.
Yeah.
ATL is like our second home, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a very energetic crowd tonight and
Yeah.
smoking band. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. ATL's best.
Yeah. So I want to start by saying you've had a lot of commercial success with your records. Do you have a particular writing style where you're like trying to aim a certain way, or do you just flow from the heart and just see what comes out and then see where it lands in the world?
You know, I feel that there have been times when I sit down to write where I feel like I want to write more, you know, in terms of like writing a hit.
Right.
But most times when I just write from my heart is that's when the really good stuff comes. So, you know, there's always like pressure to kind of like, you know, expand what we're doing, reach out into different markets, you know, but at the end of the day, when I'm just writing about the stuff that resonates with me, whether that's like a love song or like I talked about tonight, like, you know, our relationship with self, you know, songs that are more geared towards just being self-aware, being grateful for the small things, like that. Those are the songs for me that really resonate more. So like everyone loves a good love song.
Right.
And I can write a good love song that actually really does come from a place of not like trying to write a hit song or something like that. But it's hard to say. Like, I just know that when I sit down to write and the lyrics come quickly and easily, like that's the best song. But when I'm sitting there trying to be like, what would Adele do? Or what would Mariah do? Which is kind of how I used to be more back like, you know, years ago. But now that I've really found my own voice and like, you know, Keith and I have really developed our style, and the way we write together is really cool. I'm more confident in just my own voice, and it's taken, you know, some years, but yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I never really sit down anymore to write a hit song per se, you know. So
Gotcha. So in the writing process, do you start with music first, or do the lyrics come first, or can it come either way for you?
Well, typically the way it goes is Keith will write the music, and he'll send me like an MP3 of just like an idea on the roads, or like a pretty undeveloped idea. Or sometimes he'll, like when he sent I Didn't Mean It, like the demo for I Didn't Mean It, he did like a little, you know, drum track, just real corny, kind of like drum, like, you know, the drum machine thing. But it was the keyboard, it was the keyboard like motif that I was like, and the bass motif that was, I was like, oh man, this is like, that's a hit song on its own. Just the way it flowed. So when I first heard that song, I was like, man, this is a special one. Like, I don't know what it's going to be yet. And then I sat down with it one morning. I was like, oh, bam, that's it. Yeah. So like, but then now for lately, I've been coming up with my own little melodies in my head for like, you know, just like little hooks and things. So I'm going to send those to Keith and see if he can. And we've never done that before. Like, so to answer your question, it's typically been the music and then the words / melody. But I've been coming up with like some things on my own, you know, just little things. Cool. So we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah, I was about to say it should be cool to see how that develops. Doing it in reverse from what you're used to.
Exactly. Because then that's like Keith has to put the puzzle together on his end. Because like he'll send the music and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what melody like easily flows over this, or like what lyrics come to me first, because that's usually the best idea. Like when you have to kind of like force words and lyrics and the song to be, that's when I'm like, this one's not, you know, it's not as special as others. You know.
Do you keep those ideas too, or do you kind of like tuck them to the side and just keep going until something feels good?
Every time that we've put those 4 songs on the album, it's my least favorite song.
Wow.
And like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, like I'm always afraid to like say what my least favorite songs are because then people are like, but I love that
Right.
song.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
So it's like, but like, and we put the energy into it, we put the time into it, and made the song. But it's just, and it's really my own. You know, we're our own worst critic.
Right. Of course.
You know, so like someone else's ears takes it in differently. But like for instance, Reasons, there's not a song on there that wasn't one of my favorites. Like I made sure with Reasons, I was like, every song has to be one that I'm not going to listen to in a year or two and be like, man, because that's happened on pretty much almost every album for me. Just because I don't know, you have like a pressure to get the album out, and you know, you just I don't know, it's just pressure from here and just saying, oh well, I'm just gonna put it out anyway. Like, but having higher standards for myself, and also there was like kind of a magic with Reasons. So it was like over COVID, and it was like I'd never really written like in such a exact like this happened and then I wrote about it. This happened and then I wrote about it. Like all my other songs are kind of like writing about what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So Reasons was different because it was just like immediate feedback of like what I was going through, what was happening, you know,
in real time.
Yeah, it was like that's what I mean, like real time. So and so Reasons is like always a special album, and I don't know if I'll ever have that moment again. Like I'm so interested to see what we'll come up with next, you know, because like I feel like every album has definitely increased in its production and the songwriting, the level of quality.
Right.
So, and that's like always the thing. Like it's always in the back of my mind. Like, oh man, do I still know how to write a song? Like, do I still know how? Like, do I still know how to make an album? Like, it's just a funny trick that your mind plays on you. You know.
I gotcha. So tell me a little bit about your musical upbringing. Like, where did it start? When did you know, like, okay, this music thing kind of has something happening here that I think I could pursue?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Woodstock, New York, which is like a very musical town. The history there is crazy.
Really?
So yeah, you know, like the Woodstock '69 festival. Then years later, they had Woodstock '94, and not to mention the history of the town. It's been filled with poets and sculptors and artists and musicians, and not in our genre so much. Like it's a lot of rock, Americana, like folk artists, but still there's that free-spirited like musician rich community where like I walk out and I see like Donald Fagen from Steely Dan or Jack DeJohnette and that's just normal. Like most people don't have that, you know, like it was just a really special way to grow up. So for me, it was like never not an option. And my parents supported my I grew up playing the cello. Like I started early playing the cello. But they always supported it. They never put the idea in my mind that it wasn't an option. So I just, as far as I can remember, I was like, hey, I'm a musician. Like this is what I do. You know, my parents never said, you know, you should consider becoming a doctor or a lawyer or, you know, something to like a backup plan. My brother was the one who was like, you need a backup plan. And so then I started going to college and I was like majoring in like biology and had a different plan. And then I met my writing partner, my music partner, Keith. And he was like, wow, like you're gifted. You heard me singing at karaoke. And we started doing duo shows together, playing in like restaurants and wherever we could get a gig. Started writing together. And, you know, 14 years later, we have 6 albums. And we're traveling all over mostly the country, but the world, and people know our songs. And it, like I said, I told them tonight, I said, you know, it still blows my mind that people show up to see us. Like, I mean, even after all these years, like it's still really is it's so amazing to me that I get to do what I do. You know?
What about the influences? Who were some of the people that you heard and just immediately caught your ears? Like, okay, that's cool. And maybe somebody else's that's cool.
So early on, believe it or not, I was kind of like into No Doubt, like Gwen Stefani. Like my brother is like a punk rock kid. Like he like loves like rock, punk rock, anything that is not perfect. you know, so I had like rock influences. My sister was really into like hip hop, and also kind of like rock, alternative rock. My mom had an extensive record collection. So that was like the Beatles, George Harrison, Elvis Costello, Aretha Franklin, um, Carole King. Like there was just so much coming in. And I was the youngest. I was the baby of the family. So when I went to go buy records, though, I was like really into the singers. I was like into, well, Gwen Stefani, you know, she, even though it's like the band is No Doubt, like she was a front woman and she was like a badass, like doing like push-ups on stage and just like kind of running around being crazy. But then when I heard artists like Mariah Carey, and anyone who listens to me knows that obviously she was an influence because I like to sing up high and I like the vocal acrobatics. But I also gravitated towards like Jeff Buckley. Do you know who that is? He's a more obscure artist, but the song that we covered tonight, Hallelujah, like his version is the one that I learned.
Oh, nice.
So Leonard Cohen wrote that song, but Jeff Buckley is amazing. Pretty much any music that had a vocalist that had vocal agility and good lyrics. Stevie Wonder. Oh, and that was really cool. I saw that video of you and Stevie. Hey, that's like
a lifelong dream.
Life goals,
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely. That's what's up. So you mentioned Woodstock earlier, but you're now living in LA.
Yeah.
And I know you're traveling a lot, but how has that adjustment been for you? Because
I'll let you know. I'll let you know once I'm actually have some time in LA. Like I moved there, and literally people ask me all the time, like, how's LA? I'm like, well, I moved there and haven't like spent more than a week and a half there since I moved there. Wow. And, like it's been just because you know we got shows and then like you know and then I go back to New York to see my dad and my sister and. So it's just I consider myself like bi-coastal, you know, because I've got so much still in Woodstock. Yeah. You know, my fiance Omar lives in LA, and even before Omar and I came together, though, I had my eye on LA because I was just like ready for a change. It's vast, it's huge. It's like you go out the front door, and I'm always just like, wow, there's so many people. So much opportunity, and that's really why I wanted to go there to begin with, was to just get out of small town Woodstock and just see how I do there. So I think that in the beginning of the next year I'll have more time there, and I'll get back to you on that question. Okay? Cool. Because I'll take that. I guess it's true. I just really haven't had much time. But the thing is, and I'll say this. The reason that I was open to moving there is because I already knew that I love LA. Like, and I know people are like, what, you love LA? I'm like, yeah, like it's new for me. Like, I'm sure for people that live there and experience it all the time, they're like, okay, like this is a bit much, but I'm ready to, you know, just experience something different. So, yeah.
So you're 6 records in now, but you've been collaborating with some really, really heavy hitters. People like Nathan East, Little John, who has recorded, I mean, I think they say Nathan is on over like 2,000, 3,000 songs.
I know.
What did you learn from some of those sessions when you get into those situations?
Well, what I've learned from Nathan is that clearly a big part of his success is his demeanor and who he is as a person.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not taking away from his talent and his ability, but the fact that he is so humble, like you said, he's played with everyone. Every one of my favorite artists and beyond, he's played with. And when I met him, he was just, I wasn't any less or any more than anyone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I actually think about Nathan frequently because I'm like, he's kind of an inspiration to how I want to approach life. He's always smiling.
Yes.
And and his spirit is always uplifting. And when I'm around him, I feel uplifted. And like, that's how I want to be for other people. Like, I just want to be, I don't know, just someone who, when you're in the room, like when I'm in the room, just brings something more to the table than just the voice or just the bass playing or whatever the talent is. Yeah, because there's a million talented people that like their attitude is kind of like, you know, it's like they, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying that like someone like working with someone like Nathan kind of is like, wow, like to me he's like the the standard of talent, humility, and just a good hang too, you know. So I've learned that. That's what I've learned from being able to work with people like that.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. Any upcoming projects you have going?
Yeah, well, like we're working on the next.
Anything like put the music to the side. Any acting, so like dancing lessons or something? What you got going on?
You're like the third one this week to tell me about acting. And it's always been like
it's a sign.
I know, right? I know. It's always been in the back of my mind, like I really want to do some acting. You know,
LA,
I know,
Hollywood.
Oh, I'm going to be a movie star. No, I mean nothing's off the table. You know, it's just like I feel like my focus has been so much to get my music career to like at least here. You know, and that's always growing in the back of my mind. It's been really the main focus, but I'm open to acting, to voiceovers. Like I want to
that would be good too.
Yeah, because I've got like I can also do like different like I can do like the radio voice, and I can do like the children's thing, and like I don't know. I'm just there's nothing that is like not an option for me, you know.
Gotcha. So we're joking around, but if you wasn't singing, what would be another career path? Like maybe when you were 14 and 15, you thought about it before the music thing took off. Anything particularly?
Well, like I told you, I was going to school for biology, and my plan with that, like right when I met Keith, I was actually going into cell and molecular biology major.
A what?
Like cell and molecular biology, like the functioning of, you know, the basis of life, cells, and like what, you know, everything is made out of, because that was always really intriguing to me. So that was kind of where I was heading. I wanted to do maybe like research, you know, just development of like, I don't know, maybe I would have been like the COVID vaccine person, I don't know. But I was always just really intrigued by that. And so I was just kind of following my heart at that time of my life. I was like 19, 20 when I was doing that. And then I met Keith and we started doing music, and that was my real passion. So maybe I would have been in the science field. But I also love interior decorating. Like my mom was an interior designer.
Nice.
For like a chapter of her life. I don't know. I love a whole bunch of different things. Like I'm into nutrition. Like my friend Jill, she kind of inspired me in that way. So maybe like 10, 12 years ago, I really started being more aware of like what was going into my body and how it made me feel. And I want other people to feel good, because like when I changed my diet and I stopped eating like fast food, and you know, kind of just started being more aware of like what really was going into my body, started feeling so much better, and that like really is inspiring to me. So maybe I would do something with like fitness and nutrition. I like exercising. I like learning about how to, you know, build your body up. I don't know. Who knows? Like I'm into so many different things. So.
Gotcha. Well, any young aspiring singers or vocalists that may watch this, as a woman navigating this industry, what's like the best part and the worst part of having to go out as Lindsey Webster, like week in, week out, different cities, different people, different personalities? For any aspiring vocalists who may like be in college right now and trying to figure out, how do I get out here and do this? What's like some of the things to expect, and what's like the best and worst parts of it?
Well, that's a big question, because I have been fortunate, because like Keith has been my partner in music, so he's kind of been like the strong end of it, and like kind of like negotiated and navigated a lot of the stuff. But as like an individual, I think that having my own voice and finding my own ability to negotiate, before I really didn't have like the confidence to do that, but the way things have unfolded in my life, like now at this point, I'm like, I'm like asking for what I deserve. I am kind of taking more tabs on like what, and like you said, as a woman, like what men are achieving in my genre and like in age bracket versus what I am. And just kind of being like standing up for myself a little more. Because there's a part of me that is like, let things come as they will and like go with the flow. But I think that having a more active role and not being afraid to, you know, ask for what I deserve and be more instrumental in that side of things. Like that is something that I'm kind of honing on my own and being more comfortable saying like, oh, they want to offer me $1,000. I'm going to ask for $1,500. They want to offer us, you know, just because you know, at the end of it's business, like, and it's my passion. So this is where I've always gotten a little, I don't know, just kind of like balancing, like it's my passion, it's my heart, but it's a business.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like I want to buy a house. And like this is my career, but I have never wanted to, like monetizing it almost felt wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it kind of took the beauty away.
Right.
But, you know, so I'm working on that kind of perspective on it. Just kind of being like, it's okay for me to want to make money doing this. And along with you and everyone else, you're so talented.
Thank you.
You deserve every dollar and more. And so do I.
Yeah.
And so do all of our peers. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And like in terms of what I would say to an aspiring singer, musician, whatever, just like don't second guess yourself, because I think I spent a lot of time doing that.
I want to do something I've never done before.
Okay.
I'm gonna call this hot topic. Right?
I'm scared.
First thing that comes to mind, don't think about it, just give it to me. All right.
All right.
Favorite food?
Italian.
Anything specific?
Pasta.
Okay.
Even though I don't eat it that much, but it's my favorite.
Favorite city to perform?
Atlanta.
That's
not even. I'm not even saying that. I'll tell you what. I'm not even saying that. Did you see the crowd tonight?
Yeah. Oh.
They're on fire.
All right. Favorite girl group?
Destiny's Child.
That's a good one. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Flowers or chocolate?
Flowers.
Mountains or the ocean?
Oh man, mountains overlooking the ocean.
Oh, come on. You're too clever. You're too clever. Come on.
Like, come on, Malibu. Mountains overlooking the ocean.
I dig it. Ferrari or Rolls Royce?
Ferrari.
Need for Speed? Madonna or Whitney?
Whitney? Come on.
That was easy?
It's way easy.
Okay. You did pretty good.
Come on.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wait, there's no more? That's the end of the list? I really like that game.
Yeah, I'm sure. But you did great.
Thanks.
I'll think of some more next time. When you get back to me with the other things you're going to get back to me with, I have some more hot topics.
Okay, cool? Sounds good.
Cool. So you're here at St. James Live tonight. You say Atlanta's one of your favorite places. Tell me about this place and how do you like it?
St. James is like, the venue is just, I love the intimate vibe of it. They got great food. I don't know, there's something about the vibe here that people just like to get like loose, and they like will clap loud after solos, and they kind of become like a part of the performance. The actual venue is just like, I don't know, it's just comfortable. We got a little green room spot, you know. I always love playing here. The sound is great. The band is always good, you know, like you've always helped us curate great musicians to come play behind us. And
Absolutely.
You know,
cool.
What else can I say? ATL.
All right.
St. James.
Last question.
Okay.
So a lot's been happening with you in life and the whole nine. So with all the experiences that you have right now, if you had to have a conversation with your younger self, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh my goodness. Well, it might be kind of similar to our other question about what I would offer to aspiring, musicians. Just, and I feel like I'm still learning this lesson. Just be comfortable in your skin. Don't undervalue yourself. Don't let people who disagree with you shake what you believe. And I feel like that used to happen to me a lot, where like because someone didn't agree with me, I would second guess what I believe. But at the end of the day, what I believe is, at the end of the day, who I am, it doesn't change no matter what X, Y, or Z thinks, But I think I spent a little bit too much time trying to appease people in order to fit in. But really, those people, like, they were never meant to be in the circle anyway. So like, be yourself, be your authentic self, no matter what anyone thinks, because the people you think that are going to help you, or maybe that you should impress, really doesn't matter, because when you're true to yourself and you bring in the energies and the people that are meant to be in your circle,
right? Lindsey, you're incredible.
Oh,
I hope to do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we're both like 70 years old, we're gonna have another conversation. We'll see what we think about then.
Wait, we got to do it sooner than that, but okay.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you, Wes. Yeah, thank you so much.